Suzan Galluzzo is many things: a personal trainer, Reebok's official corporate trainer and brand ambassador, a nutrition specialist, an entrepreneur, a bikini bodybuilding competitor, and more importantly, a wife and a mother of two. Well, Suzan Galluzzo's online transformation program now has over 1,000 active clients nationwide and over 11,000 client successes. Suzan was named one of Canada's 100 most powerful women in 2021 by the Women's Executive Network. But her wake-up call applies to current trends in nutrition and the countless myths and fads that amount to a blur of misinformation and empty promises on the most basic pillar of wellness: how we fuel our bodies. Well, she recently founded the Pantry Project, a 2-hour workshop teaching parents how to eliminate processed foods from their kitchens to raise healthy children who are equally educated about nutrition. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get the unfiltered truth that will change your life. Transformational coach extraordinaire, Suzan Galluzzo. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Well, I'm excited that you are here because as I was reading your background, I love the unfiltered, in your face way that you have about you to communicate to your clients. And let me just kind of kick off with that. How do your clients receive that unfiltered truth from you?
You know what? It's a relationship that they're paying for, so they receive it very well, and they pretty much understand the type of person that I am and that I'm here to help them get to their goals. And so I can't be their mom that's always so supportive. I can't be their best friend that, they can do no wrong in front of. I call them out on whatever it is that they may be doing wrong in their health and wellness journey, because I have to get them to their goal. That is my responsibility.
Well, I love that because, well, it's just tough love. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people receive tough love in a very positive way because, hey, it's best for them to make the great changes. And, what are some of the common pitfalls that people tend to run up against in your area of expertise, and how can they avoid them?
I think one of the things is they underestimate the time needed and the resources needed to get to their goal. And so a lot of people want to think, well, I could lose 10 pounds in a month. But if they have 50 pounds to lose, that's going to come with a lot of peaks and valleys. And we have to take that into consideration. So first thing is, for sure, they underestimate the amount of time and effort that, we see a transformation photo and we're like, yeah, I could do that in 6 months or 12 months, but everyone's situation is different. I think another thing that people don't realize when they're starting on the journey is even the startup time takes time. Getting into your process, it takes, I call it runner-up rounds, where they're just kind of testing what works for them. What might work for one member won't work for another. And yeah, those are the two major pitfalls that people usually run into from the beginning. And then later on, it's, comparison syndrome, thinking that they should be at a point where, member B is at, but everyone's on their own journey. So it's like, just focus on yourself.
Well, when it comes to weight loss, it seems that people judge themselves by what the scale says every morning. Should people be weighing every morning, or what do you say about that?
No, I say 1 to 2 times maximum per week. One time during the week, same time, same day, undressed first thing in the morning while your body is still dehydrated is your best weight. And your body knows 7 days. And so what you do in that 7 days, you might not go walking for two, but you make up for it on day 3, 4, 5. That's okay. Your body resets every 7 days. So what you do combined in that 7 days is what your body is going to respond to. So weighing it on Friday, for example, you might be retaining water from a meal. You might have a bowel movement that needs to move, right? So I say 7 days. Don't jump on the scale, because it messes with people's head, and then they start to use the scale as their only judgment. Whereas we do photos and scale, and other victories, like adhering to the process is a huge win. Hitting all your 7 pillars, which are like walking and water and vegetables, those are wins, not just scale victories. So we look at the entire picture.
Well, how dangerous is people, when they focus on the scale, or they're focusing on social media comparisons? How damaging is that to mental health?
I think it's very damaging. I think that we need to take a step back and just realize that you need to just achieve your best self. And everyone has their best self in them that perhaps they haven't even seen come out to its fullest potential. And 99% of the time, when I get a woman or a man to focus on themselves and just bring out their best self, they are over the moon satisfied. There is no need to compare themselves with anybody on social media. So it's just putting forth that effort to, I'm going to do this for myself, and I'm going to just look at who I was yesterday and compare myself to that.
I like that. I like that. And ladies and gentlemen, remember, we're individuals. So stop comparing yourself to other people and also to what other people are doing. Stay in your own lane and enjoy that journey. Well,
No,
Suzan,
no, even in, sorry to interrupt, but even within my program, some moms will compare themselves to other moms, but it's like, you don't know how many kids and how many husbands and how many this and how many that, that particular person has. How many pitfalls? Does she work longer hours? So everyone's situation is very different, and their variables that affect them are different as well. So it's like no two people can ever compare themselves.
yeah, that's true. And I'm glad you brought that up. But let me ask you something because, and I hate to use this dirty 4-letter word called diet, but what type of diet are you on? Is it high protein, low carb, keto, paleo? What do you like?
Mine is just food. It's wholesome food from the ground. We eat and it's balanced. So I don't favor any particular macro. It's not high protein, it's not low carb. We're pretty balanced in the macro area of protein, carbs, and fats. And it's just that it's the way that I pair foods for enhanced digestion. So that's what we follow is, I follow in month 1, we focus on a hormonal reset. So we eliminate things like red meat, um, anything processed. We increase the vegetables and, lots of water, stick with the white meats, chicken, fish, or eggs. And then we kind of move towards a more digestion focused plan in month 2, which is we use some different vegetables, but it's always balanced. What I aim to teach people is they need to be able to do this without me there. They need to be able to do this on a cruise where they're just seeing a buffet. So I teach them how to live a lifestyle that can be applied anywhere. So it's not a diet, and you'll see even in any of my testimonials, they'll all say I learned a lifestyle that I can actually adhere to. I just did a 1-hour interview with a member right now, and it was just all about, it's sustainable. Because when we get into those fad diets, they're not sustainable. And that's why people, they fall off of them hard. They lose confidence in their abilities, and they gain everything back because they don't learn a lifestyle that can be sustained. So my motto is like, I have to teach you something that you can do with your kids for the rest of your life as you age into my members are 17 to 79. So and the rules apply for all, which is all around wholesome eating, around organic produce, and protein is a condiment. It's never too heavy. Vegetables are, if anything's heavy, it's the vegetables.
Well, here's what I love, Suzan, that you're doing, because let's say you have a household with 4 people.
Hmm.
Let's say the mother, most commonly, let's say that she's the one that's wanting to lose weight.
Yeah.
Then she follows a particular diet plan, and then the rest of the family is either fending for themselves, or maybe the husband's trying to be supportive and trying to follow along the plan with her to be supportive, which is great. But what I'm hearing from you, the whole family is eating a wholesome plan together. So there's not these different types of diets and lifestyles going on in one household, confusing everyone.
Yep, that's exactly correct. You nailed it. All of my members are in it, they join for themselves because it's mom who wants to take better care of herself. And they soon realize within 1 week in the program, wow, my kids are looking at my food. My husband wants to eat what I'm eating because I tell them, we make it with love. You make it so that you love eating it, and anybody around you is also going to enjoy eating it. So it doesn't become this. I have husbands writing me thank you letters, put it that way, because it gets everyone on a healthy eating and health and a wellness journey all together. So 99% of the time, the entire family transitions, and it doesn't matter what age the children are, whether they're toddlers or teens, university, or married with their own children. Everyone soon realizes that this isn't, mom didn't sign up for a diet. She actually signed up for an amazing lifestyle. And then I get the kids contacting me, and the ones that don't live with mom, they're like, okay, I want to do this too. My mom looks incredible. I love the food she's eating. So it's definitely, and when I started, my background was in studios. And so I saw, these women were in my ecosystem at the studio, and I would see they have children, they have families. So I couldn't just satisfy the needs of one person in the family. It had to work for everyone, or I knew I was going to lose these members fast. Because let's be honest, if it's only the one person in the household doing it, how long is that going to last? She has to satisfy most of the time all the needs of all the different individuals in the family. And so that has always been my approach, and everything I develop is whole family centered, whole family focused. And that's how I came up with even the pantry project, to get children off of processed foods, which is not my it's not my core focus in my business. But I know that as moms, we're challenged with that. There's so much misleading advertising and products thrown at mothers and children that they don't know if that bar is good for their child, that cereal. So I kind of, clear out the noise, explain it to them in a way that they fully understand the risks associated with eating those foods and continuing to serve them. But I give them a plan, and I give them recipes to imitate those snacks that kids have been, let's be honest, some children are very addicted to those processed snacks. So I give them a game plan. I give the whole family recipes that they will love. And it's not long that, the kids are completely converted. Their taste buds change because, it takes 2 weeks to change the taste buds of anybody, right? And so if we continually just to feed them these foods and show them the vegetables and show them the snacks that are made from homemade ingredients, oats and just real flour and non-toxic, not processed, no GMO, they change naturally. So there's no forcing in any of it for any of the family members.
See, I love this. And it sounds like to me you have a full blown wholesome plan. Uh, are there individual customized plans, or do you believe in that?
You know what? When people usually come to me, they're in a situation where they want to change their health, right? And so for me, meeting I call it the baseline requirements of being a human being, which is, are you drinking enough water? Are you eating enough vegetables? And 9 times out of 10, when people come to me, they're not even meeting those basic requirements before we can, elevate them to the next step of, okay, well, now I want to focus on my athleticism. Now I want to further enhance digestion. Some people want to go further into plant-based eating. So it's not until we meet the minimum requirement. And that's when people usually even come up with their own way of eating that suits them. Some people want more vegetables. Some people, they want to lift heavy. So their protein requirements may change for whatever. So it's not until they get to the goal setting, which is after meeting baseline. I'm just going to turn.
Wow. It's amazing. I think the easiest thing to bring up for a lot of people, and you hear, and I know you hear this every day. People don't drink enough water, which
Yes.
means it leads to exactly what you were saying. People are not getting an adequate amount. They're not even making to the normal level of fruits and vegetables and the foods they should be eating. And and that's not a hard education to understand. It's something that's very easy to receive and go, wow. And then I'm sure you see the light bulb go off in many people going, if I just get to the baseline, I'm going to be doing way better than what I've been doing.
Exactly. And you change your health trajectory for years to come by just meeting baseline. And that's why, like, there's no need to overwork it and overdo it. And we don't have to go to extremes. We just have to meet a minimum requirement of activity, consumption, and spending that energy. And that it's just a few very simple things, like getting enough steps in a day, eating the right amounts of food, the right amount of fruits and vegetables, as you mentioned, getting enough water, and getting enough sleep.
Mm,
If we can
yeah.
just come through those 4 items, we would all be in a different position.
Yeah, you bring up, let's say walking, somebody getting steps. The deal is, oh, you need to get 10,000 steps a day. And for a lot of people, that is literally impossible to
Yeah.
do. And for a lot, if they hit 3,000, that was a major goal for them. What do
Yeah.
you see as a good average if someone is going to count their steps? So they have a fitness watch of some sort.
Yeah.
What number do you like to see them hit?
I would say so. We say when they come into the program, we say around 7 to 10,000, and it depends on their weight and their ability, their mobility, if they have issues. And so we correct those, and then when you're going less than 7,000, like around 5 to 7,000 steps, which is usually a good baseline for even my more senior members, and they get it in no problem. They make it a priority, and they realize that they have to also compensate with their food consumption if they're not moving as much. So there's a trade-off, right? If you aren't moving as much, then you're going to have to watch a little bit more than somebody who is working out 3-4 times a week and getting in their 10,000 steps, right? So it's just a matter of being aware of and being honest with yourself of if I'm not moving enough, then perhaps I need to at least enhance my diet.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Now, there are good foods and there are bad foods. For you, what are they?
You know what? For me, it's not good foods or bad foods. It's what has been done to the food. That for me is so. I don't like to classify things as good or bad. We don't do any dairy, and it's mostly because what's being done to dairy, the hormones, the antibiotics in dairy, is what is causing problems for a lot of women and a lot of hormonal issues we're seeing in younger females. So, same goes for, the processed food. It's what's being done to it. There was nothing really wrong with oats until they started, processing it and making it into a sugary cereal. So, I would say bad foods are processed. Get them out of your life, not worth having, gonna just cause you more problems in the future.
I completely agree with that. And ladies and gentlemen, I've always preached against the processed foods. You need to shop on the outer aisles in the produce department more than anything else. And Suzanne, I'm
Great.
sure you completely agree with that. So let's say
Absolutely.
someone wants to get started right now.
Mhm.
What's their first step?
You're saying in my program or just in general with a healthy
Either your
lifestyle?
program or in general.
I would say meeting the baseline is the general, try and get your 5,000 steps a day and make that, get your 10 to 12 glasses of water a day, get at least 2 cups of vegetables per meal. So, lunch and dinner, and 2 pieces of fruit per day. After we kind of meet those minimums, there isn't much room for much else. Try and have 3 spaced out meals. Yeah, just and get activity, and don't overeat. Don't eat past 7 p.m. Try to get to bed by 9 to 10. After 10 p.m., 10:30, 11, we get release a surge of cortisol, the stress hormone. So it's, night owls, while they think that they're getting their second wind, it's like, no, you're getting stress. It's like, go to bed, get good rest. You're going to make better decisions when it comes to food the following day, right? And for getting started with me, we do a really lengthy intake process. We want to make sure people are ready for the change. So you fill out an application on my website, suzangalluzzo.com. My amazing team gets it. You book an appointment, and they walk you through very thoroughly, in detail, everything in month 1, month 2, month 3, expectations, accountability, how we support you, the group page. Everything is discussed in detail. It's like an hour, 45-minute call to an hour. And once you are, we want educated customers. We want people that they know exactly what they're walking into, so that there's no surprises, right? And it makes it easier to pick from a program when you know exactly what you have available to you and what you want. It's not for everyone. It's I'd say my program is for people that want a whole change and a holistic lifestyle.
Well, and I think that's the best way to go. You just can't, the bad thing about diets, people have a goal, but that goal in reality is not long term. That goal is short term. They're just trying to
Yeah.
get from point A to point B. Once they get to B, they don't sustain. It's not, either they're staying on a diet or they don't know how to go from a diet to a lifestyle.
Yes.
And I have a question for you, Suzan, because I know everybody is so different. What is your approach to people that come to you that may be dealing with hypothyroidism or even type 2 diabetes? What do you do with those individuals?
So, very similar. Again, are these individuals meeting baseline health requirements? Are they doing what they can do so that that autoimmune disease is not affecting their life and their quality of life? And so, as we work with a lot of type 2 diabetics, we reverse diabetes in as little as 2 months to 3 months, just by following the healthy protocol and like the meeting minimum baseline standards for health and wellness that I've set out. There's 7 pillars in the program. And so, I think people think that their health, their prescription for is forever. That there's nothing they could, they got the bill of diabetes and that's it. It's with them forever. But you can even if there's autoimmune diseases that cannot be reversed, your quality of life can be dramatically improved if you were at a better weight, if you were, living more of a holistic, eating better foods and exercising.
I love that. And again, ladies and gentlemen, head over to SuzanGalluzzo.com. It's at the bottom of your screen. But I want to ask you, Suzan, where did your passion for health and wellness and fitness, when did it start?
I would say in high school. When I remember, a teacher, we had aerobics and weights in our teenage years. And the teacher at the time, we had to run 5K every day. I did not think I was capable of that. So as a young girl, it opened up my eyes to, you can do hard things. And so from that 5K, I developed a passion for fitness. And then when I had my kids, that passion became a purpose. And my purpose, I knew, after having my children, was I'm put on this earth to help people develop a better, healthier lifestyle for themselves and extend their lives. by 10, 20 years, who knows, just by following simple principles and things that I learned in competing, things that was privy to athletes and doctors. And, after visiting all these practitioners, I put together my program. And yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, because I think the biggest fad in the world when it comes to eating or dieting, and it's been this way, gosh, probably for more than 5 years now, but everybody is still on the keto kick. Companies have created keto products.
Oh my gosh, the shelves are full.
Yeah, I mean, do you like keto? Or if not, why?
You know what? I just don't like anything that is particular to one macronutrient. There's four macronutrients, three of them, alcohol is the fourth. The three are, they're there for a reason. Hunters and gatherers were seeking different macronutrients that sustained them over time while they fasted. And so, I do a whole hour lesson on eating like our ancestors. We digest those foods very well. What your ancestors were eating is probably what you can digest well. So to have one macro, Eskimos have a high fat diet for a reason. They live their climate. So that's why I just don't think that I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen great success with it. With people, they'll do it for a period of time, they'll lose a ton of weight, but then they're lost. They don't know what to do. And I've seen medical complications come after, doing even a high protein or a high fat, a no carb diet. I've never seen anything good come out of it. And I've had incredible success with a balanced diet. My macronutrients are like 35, 35, 30. Very, very balanced, right? And so I just can't agree with it.
Well, no, and I do agree, because when I see people, for example, we'll just use keto. It's the best example to use for a diet. There are people who do keto that do it wrong. They will pick all the dangerous proteins, bacon, processed meats, and luncheon meats, and all of these things with chemicals and hormones. And they may be losing weight, but they're actually leading their bodies into a disease state long term. Then there are those that I've seen that would do things that they would call clean keto, where all of the foods they're eating are organic. They're clean, so to speak. Yep. But what I like about your wholesome lifestyle, and I'm going to go back to what my gastrointestinal doctor said, fiber, fiber, fiber. Because you brought up one of the most important words in all of health that most people ignore: focus on digestion.
Yes.
Because if your digestion is poor, everything else is poor.
I'm so glad you're bringing that up. And I couldn't agree more. I have a fiber minimum in my program, like if we want to get in detail.
Yeah, please, because I was going to ask you, what is your range for grams of fiber per day?
45.
45?
Yeah, 35 to 45 grams of fiber. They are required to eat 16 ounces of vegetables per day. 16 ounces. So it's like a very large bowl. They get through it in the day and they feel incredible. So, as you know, I deal with a lot of menopausal, perimenopausal women. When women come to me and they're in a state where they're 20, 30, 50 pounds overweight, usually it's excess estrogen if they're in and around those ages, right? And the only way to get rid of excess estrogen naturally is through the large intestine. So literally you poop out the estrogen and the weight just starts to fly off because they increase their fiber.
All right. I am glad you brought this up, because I've been trying to explain this for quite a while, and you know this, women, if they've been on birth control since they were 14 or 16, they've been feeding their body estrogen the whole time. Then they
Yes.
end up in the ages where they're going to go on hormonal replacement therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And the liver has been recirculating old hormones for 30, 40 years. And they
Yeah.
always go back to the doctor. Doctor, my hormones are out of balance. I don't feel good. He puts them on another hormone.
Yeah.
But all the old hormones are still there.
Yeah.
So how do we get them out of the liver? By your eating plan, which will help to remove them, like you said, and they're going to, and since hormones are fat soluble, the gallbladder will have a role in getting all of those old hormones into the large intestine so you can get them out of the body.
Yep.
And you're the only one, Suzan, that's literally brought this to light. And I am so glad you did. So, ladies, there is hope. And don't freak out if you're going to eat 35 or 45 grams of fiber a day. Because, Suzan, I'm sure 11,000 or more of your clients will testify they feel like
Yep.
$1 million bucks.
They look like $1 million bucks. You know, you see, I'm sure if you've been on any of my socials, the testimonials speak for themselves. The photos speak for themselves. The happiness coming out of those women and how they look as good as they feel on the inside. And that's the major wins is these women have no menopause symptoms, none. The ones that are still in premenopause, perimenopause have no PMS symptoms at all because hormones are regulated. They don't feel hot flashes. They don't have cramps, cravings, night sweats. None of it exists. And it's not one person saying it. It's hundreds saying it over and over again. And I amount it to that one precious rule of fiber.
You nailed it, Suzan. And let me ask you this, because let's say somebody goes onto your program. Are there other forms of coaching one should allow while on their weight loss journey?
Absolutely. You know, weight loss, it didn't just come on overnight. It came over, probably several years of weight gain. And during those several years, there was probably a lot of trauma. Trauma doesn't have to be something like, an accident or something. Trauma comes in all forms. And I didn't think that my postpartum affected me. It does. And there's generational traumas that we carry from previous generations. If our mother struggled with weight and we saw that growing up. And so I've always been very, very vocal about, this might not be enough. I'm going to teach you good habits. I'm going to teach you how to lose weight. I'm going to teach you science. I will teach you all that. But up here, we have to do more work. And so I always recommend certain books. And we do weekly check-ins, so we get to know these women very well. And, I will tell them, I want you to talk to somebody. We have psychotherapists on our team. We have mental health practitioners on our team because to me, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to, reverse a woman's trauma, her health, get her on a good path. And so with that comes other, modalities of health and wellness that in combination, you end up with the most amazing transformations happen because, these women from the inside out, from their headspace and their microbiome, they are feeling amazing. And when that happens, it's a beautiful thing because they affect anybody who comes around them is affected by that positive transformation. So mental health, huge right now. You must see it all the time. And
Oh, yeah.
especially for the young, even, as parents, we have to be very aware of what are we feeding and teaching our kids? What examples are we showing? Are we achieving our goals? There's studies done of it affects our children when they see us not achieve our goals. So it's very important that people, when they're doing this, especially if there is a need to lose weight and get healthy, put forth all efforts, including whatever resources you can allocate to, everything that comes with it.
You are an absolute wealth of knowledge. And Suzan, I'm impressed. And I'm going to be shouting your name to everybody I know who needs help in losing weight, but also some of those things that encompass that journey. But let me ask you a question, because there is something that everybody brings up. Do you believe in a cheat day?
Yes and no. And I'll explain. Okay.
Please
So
do.
I know everybody's like, no, yes. So within the first 3 weeks, the hormonal the hormonal reset, from what I've studied in all the courses that I've taken, it takes around 3 weeks to eliminate the toxins from red meat, from alcohol, and to bring up that fiber count so that, your body starts to respond. So I always tell, the members, give me 3 weeks and then we can work things into your lifestyle. But by then, 9 times out of 10, their taste buds have changed, their cravings have changed. If we're going to continually feed that sugar monster, it's never going to go away.
That's right.
So I get them, and they know this going into the program. Like, that's one of the first questions people ask is like, am I never going to indulge in meals again or alcohol? No, that's not true, but I need to get you to a safe zone. So I say, give me 3 to 4 weeks first, and then they'll understand how to incorporate and how to recover from it. So a lot of our teachings are, recovering from that cheat meal the following day is really just about executing your process right away. As soon as Monday comes, that's it. There's no junk food. Get rid of it. Move on from, if you did make a mistake and you weren't supposed to, move on. Let's get back on track. And I think that's probably one of the eye openers for a lot of people is when they practice how fast they can, quickly go back on. That's where the results happen, because there's always going to be those cottage days and long weekends and parties and events. Allocate the first 3 weeks and then you're golden.
Wow. Now, what do you do with clients that have always had a difficulty losing weight? Of course, it could be mindset, maybe a medical condition, but for the most part, if you have somebody that comes to you and literally always says, I could never lose weight no matter what I do. If I work out 6 days a week, I can't lose a pound. What do you do to help those people? Is it the same program, or do you fine tune a bit?
Doctor, that's like everyone that comes into the program says they have never lost weight until they met me and my program. I can't lie. That's, go to all my testimonials, and that's what they're shouting from the rooftops is, I've tried everything under the sun. And they want to be the first to say that. They want to say, tried everything, and I've done all the diets, and I've done keto, and I've done all the, the shots and the gimmicks and the shakes, and I've starved myself and gained it back, and I was never this healthy until I did this program. So again, it's like meeting those minimal requirements. I think what I did really well was just package it in a very consumable way. And from, what all the members say is the education behind it. So I explained to them, about that whole estrogen just floating around, excess in your body is going to turn into fat. We need to force it out. So it creates that, sense of I'm doing this for a reason. And I think that's really important for people to, they're not going to understand the science the way you do. So I break it down for them in a way that it makes sense to their everyday. And that's why we have weekly meetings where it's PowerPoint and it's slides and it's broken down in a way that they can remember it that week and they know exactly why they're doing everything.
Well, do you do anything particularly different for women that may come to you that are suffering with PCOS?
PCOS has been a very difficult one. I'm going to be totally honest. We've had many success stories, but I've also had unsuccessful stories where women, there was a reluctance to change, really adhere to the lifestyle. And I think it's a mindset as well, that you have to stop believing that it's not, it can't be improved on, that you
Right.
can't lose. Oh, people use it as kind of a crutch, and, oh, I have PCOS, I can't lose weight. But we've had several women successfully lose weight, with thyroid, with PCOS, with lots of autoimmune diseases. But I'm not going to say it's not difficult, especially when the woman or man is, the woman is so far into, the weight is heavy. And again, that needs other practitioners on board. You have to be willing to understand that it's not just a weight issue, it's a mindset issue, it's a mental health issue. And when people are carrying around a lot of weight, it comes with a lot of weight on them emotionally, right? And so
Yeah.
it's fixing all those variables at the same time. I think definitely. But with PCOS, we try to just respect the rules and follow the guidelines, everything textbook, check with your doctor. And yeah, it works, but the person
Well,
has to be engaged.
well, I've got to say this, ladies and gentlemen, I have just hand delivered to you your personal transformational health coach. And if any of you watching and listening, and you are literally having a very difficult time losing weight, maybe you've told yourself that, maybe you've got to the point to where you're believing those words that you're saying, and you need to break those words and that cycle, Suzan Galluzzo is your go-to person. And you'll see at the bottom of your screen, SuzanGalluzzo.com. Look, I encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, sign up for her program. I believe what she has told us today, I am a firm believer in. Yes to the fiber, yes to the wholesome diet. Why? Because, again, diet is a dirty word. It's the four-letter word we need to throw out. It's called
Yeah.
a wholesome lifestyle. You can
Mhm.
live it every single day, okay? That's what it's all about. It's not just adhering to a plan, and once you get to your goal, you can go back eating a gallon of ice cream every night. That's not what you want. A wholesome lifestyle. This is what it's all about. And what I love about Suzan's program, it's complete. It's not just what you're going to be eating. It's what you're going to be thinking. It's what
Mhm.
hangups you may have that need to be broken and to give you more clarity. She has a whole team to help you. So again,
Yeah.
head over to SuzanGalluzzo.com. And Suzan, I want to thank you so much for honoring us with your time and presence today.
Thank you. You have a wonderful show. You have a brilliant mind. It's been an honor. Truly is. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. And you are welcome back anytime.
I would
And
love that. Let's
my
do a part.
view, well, my viewers and listeners, they're going to love you, and I know they're going to tell me like they always do. Please have them back on. You
Love
have an
it.
open invitation anytime, Suzan. And
Thank
again, ladies and gentlemen, SuzanGalluzzo.com. If you need a transformation, a healthy one, sign up today. I will be right back after these messages.